Hey guys, and welcome to another Monday Night Oils. We have spent the last 2 weeks talking about how we can use essential oils to help support our emotional well-being, and today we are now switching topics to talk about the digestive system. But yes, we are still talking about how we can use essential oils to support our body, and in fact, you're going to see quite a bit of overlap between ways we can use essential oils to support our emotional well-being and ways we can use essential oils to support our digestive system. I am always so incredibly amazed by the way that our body is interconnected, and I know already that I'm definitely going to be pointing that out quite a lot today because it's just really amazing the way that our body is interconnected. So, we are going to be talking about ways that we can use essential oils to support our digestive system because our body is really interconnected, and the ways that we support or don't support our digestive system plays a role in all of our other systems as well. So please feel free to ask questions along the way, whether you're watching this live now or whether you're watching this later. I am not an expert in this. I do not have a plethora of information and knowledge about the digestive system. But it is something that I feel is important, and the more that I've researched it and the more that I've learned, the more important I think it is, and the more I want others learning about it, and it's something that you've been asking about as well. So we're going to dive in. This is definitely something that's still a learn in progress for me, but I'm really excited to be talking about it. So we are going to be talking about ways we can use essential oils, but before we actually talk about that nitty-gritty, how are we going to use essential oils and those oily products to support our digestive system, it is important for us just to have some general background knowledge on what in the world it is and some other ways that we can support it as well. So, our digestive system is responsible for taking whole foods and turning them into energy and nutrients to allow the body to function, grow, and repair itself. And it's essential for good health because if the digestive system shuts down, then the body cannot be nourished or rid itself of waste. It's also known as the gastrointestinal tract or the GI tract, and it begins with the mouth and includes the esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine or colon, rectum, and it ends in the anus. And there is bacteria in the GI tract, which is also called gut flora or microbiome, and it helps with digestion. So one thing that we're going to be talking about today is, yes, there is actually such a thing as good bacteria, and we want this good bacteria in our bodies. There are also parts of the nervous and circulatory systems which play a role in the digestive process. And together, a combination of nerves, hormones, bacteria, blood, and organs of the digestive system completes the complex task of digesting the foods and liquids that a person consumes throughout the day. So this system is a busy system, and it is a pretty intricate system of our body. And the entire system from mouth to anus is 30 feet long, which to me is incredible to imagine just one of my body systems inside this body of mine is 30 feet long. Like, imagine that inside yourself right now. This is a lot to take care of. In addition to these organs, the digestive system also depends on the liver and the gallbladder, even though food never actually passes through these organs. Plus, it interacts with our nervous, endocrine, and immune systems. So this is a huge portion of our body to be taken care of. If you are supporting your digestive system, you are not solely supporting your digestive system. There are quite a lot of other parts of your body and systems within your body that you are going to be supporting directly or indirectly when you're supporting your digestive system. So the small intestine is where the majority of absorption of nutrients occurs, and the nutrients move into the bloodstream and are transported to the liver. The liver creates glycogen from sugars and carbohydrates to give the body energy and converts dietary proteins into new proteins needed by the bloodstream. And the liver also breaks down unwanted chemicals such as alcohol, which is detoxified and passed through the body afterwards as waste. So whatever material is left after that moves into the large intestine, which is primarily for storage and fermentation of indigestible matter. So we've walked through several parts of our digestive system or mentioned them. We will go back and talk about the beginning parts of our digestive system, but we are now in the large intestine. And a number of factors play into the digestive system. We have digestive juices that contain enzymes that speed up the chemical reactions in the body and break down food into nutrients. And we talked a little bit about enzymes actually in the last 2 weeks. There are also cells in the lining of the stomach and small intestine, and these cells produce and release hormones that stimulate digestive juices and regulate our appetite. Nerves also control our digestive system and connect our organs to the brain and spinal cord, as well as release chemicals that stimulate the relaxing or contracting of muscles. Nerves are triggered in our digestive system when food is present to allow our digestive system to work properly. So this is what the digestive system is, but why is it actually so important? Yes, our body systems are connected. Yes, it's a part of our body, but why is it actually important? The digestive system affects all other systems in the body. Imagine we are absorbing nutrients from this, etc. There are so many things about the digestive system that are vital. And when we're supporting our digestive system, we end up supporting all these other body systems that we have and are often also seeking to support additionally. So among things like quality sleep, exercise, and stress management, we need proper nutrients to keep our body functioning at its optimal best. And notice that these are all things actually that we've talked about in the last 2 weeks that help us support our emotional well-being. And now they're supporting our digestive system. So we talked about getting rest, and we talked about actually making sure that we are relaxing. And rest is sleep. But rest is also actually allowing ourselves to enjoy things and do things that we find beautiful, whether it's listening to music, or it's getting out in nature, or it's painting something, or it's designing something, or organizing something, or enjoying food. We'll talk about food later. But all of these things, if we're finding them beautiful and we're allowing ourselves to participate in them and immerse ourselves in them, we are allowing ourselves to rest. Exercise is also so important, and when we are ensuring that we are getting exercise, yes, we're supporting our emotional well-being, but now we're finding that we're also supporting our digestive system. So these things in combination are going to do more than one thing for your body. You may be seeking to support your digestive system, and in doing so, you're also supporting your emotional well-being, or vice versa. And this is true not just of these two things, but it's true of all of our body systems, because if we're supporting one body system, then we are most likely, if not assuredly, supporting at least one other body system with whatever we're doing, if not more body systems. So, the digestive system is responsible for absorbing nutrition as well as keeping the immune system in bacteria-fighting shape. There's another system for you. So, we are full of bacteria, and the immune system helps the intestines respond to challenges such as differentiating what is bad for the body, things like viruses and bad bacteria, and what is good for the body, things like nutrients or that good bacteria. And when the body's ability to absorb nutrients and successfully process consumption is compromised, then the body is unable to fight off toxins and bad bacteria, causing our immune system to fail us. This is something that we've all experienced. Some of us have experienced this more acutely than others, but we all know what it's like when our immune system is failing us. And when we are seeking to support our digestive system, then we are also helping to support our immune system, because our digestive system and our immune system are also extremely interconnected. So, there are lots of things that we can do in order to support our digestive system. We just talked about rest. We're going to talk about essential oils. But those are not the only two things that we can do. And if we're only using essential oils, but nothing else about our lives have been changing. We are still not eating well, and we're still not resting, and we're still functioning under a lot of stress, and we're not exercising. Yes, we may see some of the effects of essential oils because if we're using them consistently, but really all of these things need to be working in tandem in order for us to truly be supporting our bodies. So this means that one of the things that we need to focus on when we're thinking about supporting our digestive system is our nutrition. And quite honestly, most of this is things that we already know. They're things that we've known for a long time, but it never hurts to remind ourselves, because our diet and what we choose to put into our bodies does indeed affect our digestive system, either positively or negatively, depending on the choices that we make. And this is something that we know, but it doesn't mean it's something that we always stick with. So thinking for me, I am very intentional about the food that my husband and I eat, and I'm intentional, that one wasn't a word. I'm intentional about where we're buying our food and the sources that they're coming from, but it doesn't mean that I'm like the poster child for making excellent food choices 100% of the time, because I'm not. There are things that I really enjoy. Chocolate chip cookies are one of them. I love making chocolate chip cookie dough, and I love enjoying it. So, yes, that is just full honesty right there, full disclosure. Yes, I really enjoy chocolate chip cookies, but it's not like the only thing that I'm eating is chocolate chip cookies. For the most part, I do actually really try to be intentional about what I am consuming. But there is always a need for some of these reminders. So we're going to actually talk through some of these reminders right now about our diet and our nutrition, because the right diet does strengthen your gut and improve your overall health. I do want you to remember that one particular diet isn't like a one-size-fit-all thing, because we are metabolically different, but there are still some general guidelines that we can use when we're thinking about our nutrition. And generally, when we're thinking about our nutrition, the most important thing that we can do for our gut health is to eliminate toxins from our food and from our diet. So the top 4 toxins that are in essentially all of our diets, not everyone, but the majority of us, are grain cereals, especially refined flour, industrial seed oils, things like corn oil or cottonseed oil, safflower oil, soybean oil, sugar, especially high fructose corn syrup. As a complete aside, please take a couple of minutes to look up all of the various ways that high fructose corn syrup can be labeled on our food. Because at this point in time, if we're buying processed food, or if you're walking along different rows in the grocery store, you're going to notice that quite a lot of our foods now say no high fructose corn syrup. But unfortunately, labels can be deceptive. It may not be labeled as high fructose corn syrup anymore. It might not say those words, or it might not have the HFCS, but take a look at the various ways that high fructose corn syrup can be labeled on our food, because it may say high fructose corn syrup and not actually be quite honest. So that is one that's really common in the foods that we eat, and they are actually a toxin. And also processed soy, so things like soy milk, soy protein, soy flour. These are things that we want to be eliminating from our diets. But on the flip side, there are also positive things that we can do and incorporate into our diet that are going to help support our digestive system. This is important because the risk for developing modern diseases increases greatly when we're consuming these toxins on a regular basis. And unfortunately, they're often in our diets daily. So there are some foods and supplements that we can add to our diets to help with our gut health. These are things like eating plenty of fermentable fibers, like starches like sweet potatoes, yuca, yam, etc. Eating fermented foods like kefir, yogurt, sauerkraut, kimchi, things along that line. Taking a high quality probiotic. If you've seen my videos, even just not even my Monday Night Oil videos, but even my Essential Rewards videos, you have heard for sure about Life 5, and now you've heard me talking about Life 9. We're going to talk about it again. If you haven't gotten this probiotic yet, I hope that you do, and that you begin incorporating this into your routine. Also treating any parasites that are present and managing your stress. And honestly, that one can be as difficult, if not more difficult, than thinking about the foods that we're eating. So I hope that, again, you noticed the correlation between the things that we can do to help support our emotional well-being and the things that we can also be doing to help support our digestive system. It does sometimes sound like a lot, but the really exciting thing is that if you're choosing to do even just one of these things, you're going to see results, again, if you're consistent in multiple areas. Because if you're choosing to help manage your stress, you're going to end up supporting your digestive system as well as your emotional well-being, etc. There's tons of examples of things you can do that are going to support more than one thing in your body. And again, eating whole foods that are nutrient dense or high in macronutrients is helpful for our bodies to thrive. And macronutrients are substances our bodies need in large quantities in order to survive. And for us, they are proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. So yes, these are things that we already know about, but we are going to just quickly talk about them. So proteins are like the macronutrient powerhouse. Protein burns more calories in comparison to carbs and fats for our bodies to break down and utilize. And they also digest more slowly than carbs and serve as a good buffer for blood sugar instabilities. So foods such as pasture-raised meats and eggs, organic nuts, these are all high-quality proteins that are excellent choices to begin incorporating into our diets if we haven't already. There are also fats, and yes, fat is something that does not always have the best, skip that because I can't think of the word that I wanted to say right there. Sorry guys. But anyway, we don't always think the best when it comes to fat, but there are actually good fats out there, and it's actually something that's vital to incorporate into our daily diet. So let's talk about why and what are some good options for us. Fats are found naturally in plant and animal sources, and they should be part of our daily diet. Fats serve as a protection mechanism for our bodies. Every cell in our body, every cell is encased with a membrane of fat, including our brain cells, and our brains are actually 60% fat. So think about that one for a minute. As you load up on healthy fats, you do want to make sure that you're limiting your intake of starchy foods and sugary foods. And the reason for this is because if you don't limit that, then our bodies are not going to be able to burn fat efficiently. Because our bodies are actually built to first burn the sugar or carbs that we have in storage, because it's a really quick energy source. And fat, on the other hand, is digested and utilized more slowly. So if you are consuming those healthy fats, but you're also consuming a lot of carbs and a lot of sugary, starchy things, then your body is going to pinpoint those as your energy source first and not actually be able to burn those healthy fats that you've stored up for energy. So there are actually a lot of foods that I love in this category. So yeah, I do have to eat in moderation and think about the serving size of these. For example, I'm pretty sure I could eat an entire avocado like in a second, especially with that lime vitality on it. If you haven't tried this one, hook yourself up. Avocado, lime vitality. If you want to add something else like some black pepper or some salt or onion, do it. But even just the avocado and lime vitality are so good. So yes, that's my first example of a healthy fat for you. But nuts, fatty fish like salmon, green olives, and eggs are also all excellent examples of healthy fats, and they're delicious. So please don't shy away from all the healthy fats out there. Finally, we have carbohydrates, and there is indeed a place for carbohydrates in our diet, and yes, in fact, we need them. It is one of those macronutrients. We need all three of them in order to survive. So carbohydrates aren't something that we should shun. But as with fats, not all carbohydrates are the same, and where we go wrong is the amount that we're consuming and also the type that we're consuming. So refined carbs, which is a super ingrained part of the standard American diet, are not the kinds of carbs that we ought to be incorporating into our diet regularly. So just keeping it really simple, things like fruits, vegetables, and true whole grains are a great source of carbs that we should be incorporating into our diet. But essentially this means if you're seeing it on the grocery store shelf and if it's processed and packaged, then we ought to think about eliminating them from our diet. And as I was honest up front, I am telling you these things, and I promise you that they're serving as a reminder for me at the same time as I'm talking about them with you. This is not something that's always second nature to me, even when I'm working to be really intentional about the things that we're eating. So that was a reminder for you and for me about the foods that we ought to be incorporating in our diet and the foods that we ought to consider eliminating or lessening in our diet. So we've talked about what the digestive system is, why it's important, some other tools outside of essential oils that we can be using to help support our digestive system, and now what I've promised is here. We're going to walk through the organs in our digestive system pretty quickly and talk about essential oils and supplements that we can use to help support these organs. So, the first one we have is the mouth. And yes, the digestive system starts in the mouth because it's where food enters our body. The teeth break down food into smaller particles, and enzymes in saliva begin the process of digestion. So, dental and oral health issues or insufficient saliva production can result in swallowing foods that have been chewed enough. And this can either cause us to gain less nutrition than we could have from these foods, or it can cause us to choke. And because we're experiencing difficult passage of the food from the esophagus. So, yes, if we're having these dental and oral health issues, it may cause us to swallow things that we haven't chewed enough. Or we may be eating things too quickly and we end up swallowing air, which can result in gas and indigestion. So there are quite a few oils and products that we can use to support our mouth. If this is something that you are looking to support, consider the following. Try rosemary, you can try thieves, you can try Melaleuca alternaria, you can try Melrose. The Young Living toothpaste are amazing. My husband uses the Thieves Aroma Bright toothpaste. I personally really like the Thieves Dentarome Ultra toothpaste. There is also the Thieves Dentarome Plus and the Kid Sense toothpaste, so you have a lot of options. Plus, there is a Thieves mouthwash, which is intense, but it's really good. And there is actually also a Thieves floss. So there are a lot of products that you can choose from in order to help support your mouth. Following your mouth, we have the esophagus, and when you swallow food descends the esophagus, and it's the tube connecting the pharynx to the stomach. And separating the esophagus from the stomach are two doors called the upper and lower esophageal sphincters. And the lower esophageal sphincter keeps stomach acid and food from coming back up into the esophagus. If this is something that you are looking to support when you're thinking about what particular organ in the body you might want to focus on for supporting your digestive system, you can use lemon, you can use peppermint, you can use Digestive, and there is a supplement called Alkaline. And Alkaline is a precisely balanced alkaline mineral complex formulated to neutralize acidity and maintain desirable pH levels in the body. So again, these three oils and this oily supplement are excellent choices if this is the particular organ you think you would want to focus on when supporting your digestive system. So we have the mouth, the esophagus, and now we're going to talk about the stomach. And in the stomach, Food is further digested by hydrochloric acid and enzymes. The stomach turns the digested food into mush known as chyme. And the stomach is coated with a thick layer of mucus, which prevents the hydrochloric acid from burning a hole through the stomach lining. And there are a lot of different products that we can use to support this particular organ of our digestive system. There is a supplement called Comfort Tone. Comfort Tone is an effective combination of herbs and essential oils that supports the health of the digestive system by eliminating residues from the colon and enhancing its natural ability to function optimally. It contains ingredients that are beneficial to the liver, the gallbladder, and stomach health. Also consider taking a look into geranium and, of course, Life 9. So we're going to pause right here so that I can talk about it because I talk about this one a lot, and I would like to tell you why I talk about this one so much. So we have bacteria in our guts, and we have more bacteria in our guts than we have cells in our body, which is kind of mind-blowing to imagine. Again, we have more bacteria in our gut than we have cells in our entire body. So our gut is home to over 100 trillion microorganisms, and only a small number of these have actually even been truly identified. Our gut flora promotes natural gastrointestinal function. It provides protection from infection, it regulates our metabolism, and it comprises 75% of our immune system. So if you are thinking at all about trying to support your immune system, you really ought to think about supporting your digestive system, and in particular your stomach, because Life 9 is just really good at supporting it. So dysregulated gut flora can be linked to various autoimmune illnesses and diseases, and all gut flora are susceptible to sudden changes in their environment and will die off in droves when conditions aren't right. So illness, stress, and antibiotic use affect the balance of these microorganisms. Gut flora get their food by breaking down what we eat. So therefore, diet is the most important factor. We talked about it. I'm not going to go back to it. But there are quite a lot of things that can negatively affect our gut flora, and I am actually just going to list them for you. So overuse of antibiotics affects our gut flora negatively. The long-term use of pharmaceuticals, things like NSAIDs, which are the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, birth control, and corticosteroids. Also, excessive sugar consumption. So, Halloween just recently happened, and then a lot of people noticed that they needed to be supporting our digestive system. Thanksgiving's going to be happening, and then a lot of us are realizing that we really need to support our digestive system. There is an actual reason for this. Also, excessive carbohydrate consumption. Again, I just mentioned some things that are going to be or have recently happened. Excessive alcohol consumption, yes, red wine in moderation seems to improve gut health, but in general, excessive alcohol consumption, yeast parasites, and stress, and environmental contaminants. All of these things, some of them are in our control and some of them are not even in our control, can all negatively affect our gut flora. And bad gut flora is now really common. So take a look into leaky gut and take a look into inflammation. These things can affect more than just our digestive system. There are so many potential problems caused by inflammation. This is something, so I go to the chiropractor, and my chiropractor in New York literally talked to me about inflammation every single time I was there, because for him this was like imperative that he talk to every single one of his patients about this. There's tons of information out there, and I would recommend looking into it. Otherwise, this class is just going to get excessively long. But do take a look into this more. So, the Life 9 probiotic can help promote healthy digestion, support gut health, and helps maintain normal intestinal function for overall support of a healthy immune system. So, all of this is to say, you are continually going to hear me talk about this one. Now you know why I'm talking about this one. Get Life 9 probiotic into your life. It's an easy one to incorporate into your routine. It's one of the last things I do. It's in the refrigerator, so I go, I get a drink of water, I take Life 9, and then I go to bed. Seriously think about incorporating this one into your routine. So we talked about the mouth, we talked about the esophagus, we talked a little bit more about the stomach, and now we're going to move on to the small intestines and also the pancreas and liver. So food passes from the stomach into the small intestine, where it's broken down into smaller parts, and bile from the liver and enzymes secreted by the pancreas break down carbohydrates into simple sugars, the proteins into amino acids, and fat into fatty acids. And millions of villi, tiny fingers, absorb these nutrients as well as vitamins and minerals and pass them into the blood. And from here, the blood transports the nutrients to the liver, which filters the blood and converts the nutrients into a usable form. So the nutrients are then sent through the body via the bloodstream. And while flatulence or gas are normal, it can be really annoying or embarrassing. So, unknown to many, most gas comes from air, either air that we swallow while eating or foods that contain air, such as whipped foods and carbonated drinks. So gas is also caused by food that's not fully digested, and the bacteria in the intestine devour this food, and the byproduct is gas. So because fiber is not digested, gas can result from this also. And people who suddenly begin a high fiber diet often find themselves with gas problems. So just an FYI for you. There are a lot of essential oils and supplements that can help support your small intestine. So check out essential zymes. I'm not going to talk about them much right now. Well, I'm literally just telling you essential zymes because we did talk about them more extensively last week. Also Essential Zymes 4, which we also talked about last week. Life 9, you just heard me talk about it a lot. Peppermint, Digest, ginger, tarragon, fennel. Guys, Digest is like my hallelujah essential oil blend. It's excellent at supporting your digestive system. I carry it around with me all of the time. It's the one oil blend. It's not his favorite. He would tell you that lavender is his favorite essential oil, but Digest is the oil blend that convinced my husband, like, yes, this is actually effective. Yes, we are going to use these. And he's really gung-ho about the essential oils now, and Digest is the one that sold him. So if you have a premium starter kit, you have this one. I'm excited for you to use it if you haven't yet. There are also some supplements I want to highlight. Alkaline, which we talked about earlier. Parafree. Parafree are soft gels formulated with an advanced blend of some of the strongest essential oils studied for their cleansing abilities. Like, seriously, these are amazing essential oils in this one. I was thoroughly impressed when I was reading about this one. It is, as I said, I'm reading about it. This is not one that I've actually tried, but I should, because the essential oils in this one, particularly when you're focusing on supporting your digestive system, are amazing. There is also something called the Cleansing Trio, and this contains 3 products actually that you need to begin improving your health through cleansing your system and eliminating waste, specifically by supporting normal liver function. So it has Essential Zyme, which we talked about last week. It has ICP, and it has Comfortone in it. There is also Digest and Cleanse, which is a great one. It's soft gels that soothe gastrointestinal upset and supports healthy digestion and more. So this is, again, one that we talked about last week. Have to point out, guys, if you're supporting one system in your body, you are so supporting the other one. So just try out some things. That's something that we talked about that would help us support our emotional well-being. Now I'm talking about how it will also help support your digestive system. Finally, so we have our mouth, esophagus, then we talked about stomach, we talked about the small intestine, the pancreas, and liver, and now we are going to talk about the large intestine, the bowel, and the anus. So when all nutrients have been absorbed, water, fiber, and bacteria pass through a valve that's connected to the colon, or to the colon. And the colon absorbs water and any remaining nutrients and forms poop that's then excreted. So the colon contains trillions of bacteria, which help regulate the environment and ensure that disease-causing microbes are destroyed. And there are a lot, again, not surprisingly, there are quite a few essential oils and essential oil products that we can use to help support this particular organ area of the digestive system. So orange is a great one, rosemary, lemon, peppermint, marjoram, Digest, Comfort Tone, and ICP. ICP is part of the cleansing trio, but we'll tell you a little bit more about it. It helps keep your colon clean and is an advanced mix of fibers that scour out residues. And finally, we have Essential Zymes and Essential Zymes 4. So that was a lot of information. We started out just talking about the basics of what the digestive system is, why it's so important to support it, some things that we can do outside of essential oils and these oily products to support it, and now finally we walked through each of the organs in the digestive system and talked about some essential oils that we can use to support those specific organs. If you are watching and you have not gotten started on your essential oil journey, but you would like to, I would love, love, love to have you join us. All you need to do to get started is tap or click the link that says sign up at the top of the Rooted City Oils page, and that will lead you to a place where you can sign up for a premium starter kit. If you are already on board with using essential oils and you are using them and you're wanting to order more, I highly, highly, highly recommend Essential Words. Like, I wish that I could just say, like, you have to, because it's absolutely the best way to be getting these products. Guys, you get a percentage back, you get loyalty gifts, you get reduced shipping. There's a million things. That's an exaggeration, but there are so many things that are excellent about Essential Words. So, particularly if you're on my team, please let me know if you have questions about how to join Essential Words, because I would love to help you out. And in fact, I feel so strongly about it that I would like you to just jump on it. And if you decide later that it's not your thing, it's not working for you, I will help you cancel it. It's no cost to join, it's no cost to cancel. So you have nothing to lose, but you have those percentage back points to gain and the loyalty gifts. So it's a win for you no matter what. So thank you for watching. Please let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to leave me a comment on this video, shoot me an email. It's always wonderful talking, and I always, always, always love answering any of the questions you have. So thanks for watching.